Today I'll be showing you how to use printable heat transfer vinyl, and we'll also be going over the print and cut steps in Cricut Design Space. If we're just meeting right now, hi, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest. The product I'll be featuring today is Teckwrap's printable heat transfer vinyl, as well as their mask for the printable heat transfer vinyl. Now, I have done a video before on Teckwrap printable heat transfer vinyl. However, they have recently upgraded their product, so I can't wait to try it out today. So let's jump on to Cricut Design Space and get started. Today I'm going to be making an Easter shirt for a baby, and I'll be using this image here that I uploaded from Design Bundles. Now, I uploaded this image as a print then cut image, and you can see that right here underneath operation, it says print then cut. If you uploaded an SVG, you would have to change your operation from basic cut to print then cut. Now, this is a really cute design, but you can see there's quite a bit of weeding. I really don't want to weed out all these little circles on the treads here. So I'm actually going to create an offset that's going to make this image pop a little more, but also eliminate some of the weeding that I have to do. So I'm going to go up to offset, and you can see that blue outline going around my image. It's a little thicker than what I want, so I'm going to grab this circle here and drag it towards the center. So I have my offset at 0.069, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to press apply. And you can see how that offset just made this image pop a little bit more with that black outline. You can change that color of the outline if you wanted to. If you want it to be green, it would look like that. I really like the black, so I'm going to stick with that. So now you can see there are no holes that I need to weed out along these treads. But let's say you didn't want to weed out these windows, you wanted those to be black as well. What we can do is let's separate these layers here. So there's our original design and here's our offset. What I'm going to do is change the operation from print then cut. I'm going to make this a basic cut. By making this a basic cut, this is going to give me an option to use one of our other features in Cricut Design Space, and that's contour. So if we go down to the bottom right, you can click on contour. And these windows here, I don't want to weed out, so I'm just going to click on those. And any other pieces I don't want to weed out, I'm just going to click on all of them. And then I'm going to click the X on the top. And you'll notice here, all those little holes have now been filled in. So now what I'm going to do is change the operation back to a print then cut. And I'm going to make this black again as well because it turned gray. So let's make that black. So now we have two separate print then cut layers here, but I want to put them together. I don't want them to be separate. So I'm going to line this back on top. Let's select both of those layers, go up to align, and we're going to center this. Then we can go down to the bottom right, make sure both of those layers are still selected, and then click on flatten. And that's just merging those two layers together. So now this is one solid image rather than two separate images. I'm going to put this on a baby onesie, so I'm going to size this a little smaller. We're going to go up to the top under size and change that to 5 inches for the width. Now, if you notice beside flatten, I do have a little warning sign here. It's just letting me know that my image does have a low resolution, but I have printed this image out before and the colors show up just fine, so I'm not too worried about that warning. So let's go over and click on make. And Design Space asks if you want to save your project. You can if you want to. I'm not going to save it right now, so don't save. And here's our image on the canvas. We're not going to mirror this project. Often when you use heat transfer vinyl, you do have to mirror your image. For this project, we are not going to mirror. Make sure you have the right material size selected. We are using A4 paper, so make sure that is checked off there. And then go ahead and click on continue. We're going to send this to our printer. I'm going to leave the bleed on for this. You don't have to. The bleed basically extends your colors out a little bit, so if your calibration is slightly off, the bleed marks will compensate for that. I always recommend to use system dialog, so click on that toggle and click on print. Now your system dialog box usually pops up behind your Design Space application, so you might have to move that out of the way. And there it is there. There is our print dialog box. Under media and quality, we're going to change the quality from normal to best. Now, before you go and press print, make sure you put your printable heat transfer vinyl in the printer. Teckwrap's heat transfer vinyl comes with some parchment paper in the package and 15 sheets of A4 transfer paper. It's easy to tell what side the back is because Teckwrap has their logo on the back, so there'll be no confusion of what way you need to put your paper in your printer. I'm using an Epson Eco Tank Inkjet printer, and so when I place my paper in the drawer, I need those Teckwrap words to be facing up at me. For our base material, we're gonna click on Browse All Materials and type in printable vinyl, and we're going to select the printable vinyl white and then click on Done. We're going to place our image on our mat and have our Cricut cut it out. When placing your image on your mat, make sure it's the same way as it appears on your screen. So on our screen, the image is at the top left-hand corner, so that's where we want our image to be on our mat. You'll notice that the bunny ear on the excavator looks like it got cut off a little bit, but don't worry, that's just the bleed marks, and once our Cricut cuts this out, you won't notice it at all. Once you insert your mat into your Cricut machine, your machine will shine a little light onto your page looking for those corner registration marks before it begins to cut. Once your design is cut out, grab a weeding pen to help peel off the white film around your image. And don't forget to weed out any little pieces inside your letters. When doing this, also try not to scratch any of the ink, because if you scratch the ink off, it's not going to appear on your final design. Teckwrap also sent me some heat transfer masks, so I decided to give them a try for this project. A heat transfer mask is similar to transfer tape, except for this is made for printable heat transfer vinyl. Use your weeding pen to peel off the backing film and then lay the sticky side down on your design. Fold the transfer mask like a taco, and so you're sticking that middle piece down first and then letting the sides fall down. And then use a scraper to smooth it out, making sure you don't have any bubbles. Then slowly peel the carrying sheet off the back of your design. I have set my heat press to 330 degrees for 25 seconds. I'm going to place this design on a white baby shirt that's 100% cotton. You can use this product on colored shirts or hats or bags or pillows and many more things. Teckwrap just recommends that the material is a minimum of 30% cotton. While waiting for the heat press to warm up, use a lint roller on whatever material you're using to remove any lint or debris. And then once your heat press is warmed up, before putting your image on your shirt, press your material for 5 seconds. You can go ahead and place your design on your shirt. Now, since I'm using the heat transfer mask on this, I didn't really need to lay parchment paper on top, but I do it anyways. It's always a good habit to get into. This helps protect your material as well as your heat press. I pressed the design on the shirt for 25 seconds, and Teckwrap says that you can do a hot or a cool peel. So let's see how this shirt turned out. Well, this is disappointing. It's not really sticking to the shirt. It's ripping, and only half the design stuck to the shirt. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I did wrong, and we're gonna have to try this again. So I cut out the design again, and this time I'm not going to use a heat transfer mask. I'm just going to peel the design off of the carrying sheet very carefully. If the design was just one piece, this would be much simpler, but I've got multiple pieces here, so I'm going to have to be careful with this. So I have a brand new shirt here, and after giving it a 5-second press, I'm going to lay all these pieces on top of the shirt directly without using a heat mask. Then I'm going to lay some parchment paper on top, and I'm going to press it for the same time and the same temperature as I did before. So fingers crossed this works out. This looks so much better. No missing pieces. So I'm going to wait 24 hours and we'll do a wash test to see how this holds up. Teckwrap recommends that you wait at least 24 hours before you wash your product. And in the meantime, I'm going to figure out if I can get the heat transfer mask to work. So after lots of trial and error and testing different times and temperatures, I have finally come up with a setting that works well for me, and I hope it works well for you as well. So this time you're going to set your heat press to 175 degrees Celsius or 347 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you're gonna start off the same way we did before. We're gonna give the fabric a 5-second press and then lay your design down on your material. And this time we will be pressing for 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds are up, don't peel that mask off quite yet. Let it cool down for a full 60 seconds. Once you've allowed that full minute for it to cool down, you can slowly peel back the mask. And this just looks so much better than it did before. And I'm so happy I found the right settings and that this product works. But now you're probably wondering how my wash test turned out. So let me show you. I threw 2 of the shirts I created into my washing machine. I turned them inside out, and I also threw in some other clothes as well, because who does their laundry by only throwing one thing in the wash? Things are expensive these days. I'm doing a full load of laundry. So I washed my clothes the way I normally do, using cold water. And when that was done, I took both those shirts out of the wash. One of them I threw into the dryer because I wanted to see what would happen, and the other one I let dry naturally on my dryer. So this is what it looks like when you take it out of the wash machine. The colors are still vibrant, nothing has peeled off the shirt, it looks great. It's just slightly wrinkled, which is expected when you pull something out of the wash. So I let both of my shirts dry. One dried naturally laying on top of my dryer, and the other one dried inside my dryer on a low heat setting with other clothes in that load as well. The one that didn't dry in the dryer looks great. All the colors are still there and vibrant, and I'm sure this would hold up for many more washes. Now let's take a look at the one that I pulled out of the dryer. The vinyl still looks great. It didn't peel off the shirt. One thing I did notice is the yellow color on our excavator looks slightly darker, almost like it got tinted with a little bit of black ink. So I don't recommend throwing your shirts in the dryer. So if you let your shirts air dry, you'll end up with much better results. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you appreciate all the testing I did, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.